going to get worse. And we've already tried that multiple times. But he can attest to that. We've tried it. Let's just kill all the dogs and then start fresh. Does it work? It doesn't work. The data is there that tells us this does not work. It's not about animal loving. It doesn't matter if you hate dogs, love dogs. It doesn't work. It actually makes the problem worse. So if we have dogs, for example, in this area that are already desexed, they are maintaining their territory. So they're keeping any new dogs out who can reproduce, and they're maintaining their territory just like a lion would. And our purpose is to get to, so most of you guys, I'm assuming, are business people. You just understand that you want to grow your business. We don't want to grow this business. We want to stay at zero. We want zero growth rate. We want to get to zero.
I like to ask one question to the public, right? All this while you've been asking us, what is the lifespan of a dog? Anyone? Yes, it's 15 years. Street dogs, maybe less than 6 years in Fiji. In Fiji, it's mostly 3 years, 4 years, and they are dead. So, what happens to poisoning? The way the dog dies is beyond imagination. And secondly, Fiji is on a global stage. Like I said, when we do trap to euthanize poisoning cases, there's tourists who message us that we do not want to come to Fiji. We get inbox that we will not come, we'll only fund desex. For example, in this area we poison all the dogs, people's dog, whoever it is. 6 months again, the population is there, because the dogs reproduce every time. So the only option is desex one, 15 years, stop. And we should, like for example, if you have 10 dogs there, you desex them, there will be no new dogs there. And removing them, you'll bring 10 more dogs which is not sterilized. And that will multiply. For example, one of the cases in Kashmir, where the theft of the vehicle happened, that shop there, Haripunjawan, on the top. That street we get lot of complaints. But when we went to investigate, there was only one house that had dogs which was not desexed, and that dog is multiplying, and there is now a total of 30 dogs from one home on the street, from just one home. Now suppose we desex, for example, we pick up the dogs and euthanize, poison, examples you said. What is stopping that family from not getting another dog? It's simple, they'll bring another dog. So we should understand from the people complaining side, science side, the only approach is desex. And we are not saying that we're going to do it in 1 or 2 years time. The time frame Casey has done, it's happening in just few months time in Lautoka. And the problem will be addressed once and for all. And there will be time, like for example, there was one place in India there was a population of one state where there was 2 million people staying, and they had this problem of overpopulation. Just in 2 years, they did extensive desexing, and everyone knew whose dog is this, who feeds these dogs. 2 million population, and we are not even maybe 1 million, or in Lautoka maybe 200,000 maybe, I don't know. There's 9,000 houses in Lautoka. And we have mentioned about license. Just for your information, we have only 600 dogs which are licensed in Lautoka. Out of how many dogs you see, only 600. And majority of them are not even desexed. Like for example, the one we had the meeting in Womo Street just last week. Just opposite our meeting venue, there was some dogs which are licensed, and they are the one adding to the problem. And we went, the staffs of LCC went and called them to come and sit down. What they did, they closed the door and shut off the light. And they were hearing, just, we can see the cattle. These are the things. So what we can do, they will have the dogs, we just desex, and the problem will just finish.
Sure, I'd like to add on. I think I can understand why there is a sentiment as such to poison dogs. Obviously, dog population is a big problem, right? And I'm going to be speaking on this as an individual, not associated with any NGO. So animal welfare groups have to understand, and along with everyone else, that there's finite number of resources that we have. That would be our monetary resources, human resources, that would be the vets, volunteers, etc., etc. So if we were to target a certain area, I would really hope that everyone takes this approach called a utilitarian approach. With a finite number of resources, it would be best to pick battles, to save X number of dogs, and if there is an animal which is in a really poor shape, is diseased, as someone had mentioned about a dog which has tumors and is in a shape which means that if we were to spend resources on that dog, we would take away from another 10 or 15 animals. We shouldn't be opposed to helping it move on. That is euthanasia itself. It's not a bad thing. It's something that people need to understand. A utilitarian approach dictates that to save 10 animals, there's a chance of sacrificing one. So if we have so let's say we took care of 10 houses here and we desexed 8 of the houses, and there was one dog in one of the houses which was diseased, aggressive, a danger to community. That dog would be a candidate for euthanasia. And I'm thinking that's what you actually meant when you suggested poisoning, etc. So I'm very much sure that, yes, that's what we did in Korepita as well. There was a desexing campaign. Before that, there was analysis done, everything. So those members of the community that brought in their dogs for desexing, everything was desexed, and then we got to identify there's X number of stray dogs. What happens to these stray dogs? These stray dogs are causing problems. Those stray dogs are rounded up and euthanized, and now you have a community with desexed owned dogs, and you start from scratch, and the community at that point has a policy of not bringing in any animals into the area without having it desexed first, or having plans to be desexed. Yeah, and euthanasia is a humane way of putting an animal down due to X number of reasons. Hope that helps.
Thank you, Doc. Please don't take any offense, because people say the shortest way to control the dog population is do the poisoning. But now the mentality and the mindset of people have changed now. That's where we're saying we have got other strategies and interventions. I will share my experience of 29 years service in Lautoka City Council. I've been in about 10 dog poisoning campaigns. 3 sleepless nights, we do debating. We do debating, killing more than 800 dogs and the cats. I've said 40 to 50 cats every year.